The recent NSA scandal has brought the concept of privacy from the halls of academia and computer labs to the American dinner table. Edward Snowden is now a topic of discussion at dinner parties, local bars, and the average family's living room. Cybersecurity is no longer a topic reserved for geeks. Now most Americans are aware that somebody, somewhere, is listening. Everyone has heard of the movie 1984 by George Orwell. If you haven't, 1984 is about a government that has total control over its citizens. Not only does the government feed their citizens propaganda day and night, but they also control their private life, food, sex life, exercise regimen, thoughts, and speech. The people live in poverty and are in a constant state of terror because of the continual wars. And how does the government enforce their rules upon the population? Through constant surveillance in a program known as Big Brother. Have we unknowingly become a victim of Big Brother? I think so, and I think as this short film unwinds, you will agree. This is how we resist. Edward Snowden has become famous for exposing the illegal surveillance of American citizens by the NSA. Most Americans are aware of this, but what most Americans don't know is the extent of the spying that has taken place and is taking place right now. Our government is monitoring the communications of every American citizen in the form of email, web traffic, social media, texting, and phone conversations, and even video games such as World of Warcraft. They are collecting a record of everyone you call, who calls you, when you're on the phone, the length of your phone call, and even your location. They are also monitoring your texts, Facebook accounts, your web surfing, and your email. Yes, your phone calls, and your email, your communications. So, how much data are they tracking? How about 5 billion records of the locations of mobile phone users daily? They have turned the cookies advertisers use on your web browser into tools to track you. The head of the National Security Agency has admitted to programs to monitor the precise location of Americans through their cell phones, saying that the highly intrusive tracking data may be something that is a future requirement for the country. Recently, a group of major tech companies met in Washington to lobby for greater regulation regarding the NSA snooping on Americans. What they don't tell you is that they are in full cooperation with the NSA. The major telecommunication companies and tech companies have given the NSA your private data. They have duplicated the cables that feed these companies with your web traffic and use the duplicated data lines to send that information to the government. The worst part is that although some Americans are willing to trade their freedom and loss of privacy for a feeling of security, they would be shocked to know about the abuses. For example, government employees were using this ability to spy on anyone, to spy on their lovers and ex-lovers, and to track people who were not under any suspicion at all. Why? Because they could. After all, who watches the watchers? So what's the big deal, you might wonder? The surveillance the NSA is performing is for patriotic reasons. It makes us safer. Of course, you have the right to make that choice, but that's not how our government was formed, and it's not intended to function that way in our modern day either. In fact, the NSA spying on Americans has just been found unconstitutional. Do you really want you and your family to be at the mercy of a faceless government employee who may or may not abuse their power? That's how we lose our freedoms and end up living in a police state. They won't blink. They'll say, tell a judge, and you'll have to go to court and fight for your rights. It is no longer enough to only encrypt our data. Quantum computers can now crack those encryption standards, and very quickly, in fact. Edward Snowden says it already has happened. So what do? We must wake up. Wake up our families. Wake up our friends. We must spread the information. This video is my effort to do just that. You can do the same thing. Start a blog. Do something. You could spread the word with pamphlets. You must do something. What else can we do? We must take precautions on our side to protect our data and secure our privacy. You can download common tools to make it difficult for the government agencies to see your data. You can choose encryption algorithms that, yes, eventually can be cracked, but it's one more step the government has to do. There's a lot of common tools. You can find them online. Finally, we must support organizations who stand for freedom, such as Infowars.com, FreedomWatch.org, and others. They can take your money, and because they're organized already, use it effectively. Let's stand. Let's resist. Wake up.